9:30, and Mr. Charles has not yet returned. I am in a fever of dread. If his father happens to rise earlier than usual on any morning, he is sure to ask for Mr. Charles. Poor deluded old gentleman. He little thinks how he is deceived. Well, Martin, he has not come home yet.
No, and I've not had a wink of sleep all night. I can't stand this any longer. I shall give warning. This is the 5th night Mr. Courtly has remained out, and I'm obliged to stand at the hall window and watch for him.
You know, if Sir Harcourt was aware that we connived at his son's irregularities, we should all be discharged.
I have used up all my common excuses on his duns. Call again, not at home, and send it down to you. Won't serve any more. And Mr. Crust, the wine merchant, swears he will be paid.
So they all say. Why, he has arrests out against him already. I've seen the fellows watching the door. There he is. Yes, there's the knock. There he is, just in time. Quick, Martin, for I expect Sir Harcourt's bail every moment. And there it is. Thank heaven he will return to college tomorrow, and this heavy responsibility will be taken off my shoulders. A valet is as difficult a post to fill properly as that of any prime minister.
Hello?
Eddie!
Hello?
What are you about? What are you about? Howling like a Hottentot. Sit down there and thank heavens you're in Belgrave Square instead of Bow Street.
Damn Bow Street.
Oh, with all my heart. You've not seen as much of it as I have.
I say, let me see, what was I going to say? Look here. There. Damn me, I'll puzzle the twopenny postman. I'll deprive them of their right of disturbing the neighborhood. That black lion's head did belong to old Vampire the moneylender. This bell pultum is Stitch the milliner.
And this brass griffin.
Oh, let me see. I think I twisted that off our own hall door as I came in while you were paying the cab.
Well, what shall I do with them?
Pack him in a small hamper and send him to the sitting magistrate with my fullest compliments. In the meantime, come into my room and I'll astonish you with some burgundy.
Mr. Charles.
Out, not at home to anyone.
And drunk.
As a lord.
There's a whole house of lords.
If Sir Harcourt knew this, he would go mad. He would discharge me.
You flatter yourself. That would be no proof of his insanity. This is Cool, sir. Mr. Cool. He keeps the keys of the wine cellar.
I'm always happy to shake hands with the man that keeps the keys of the wine cellar.
Mr. Cool, sir. He's the best liar in London. Cool, tell us a lie. There's a pungency about his invention and an originality in his equivocation that is perfectly refreshing.
Why, Mr. Charles, where did you pick him up?
You mistake. He picked me up.
Here comes Sir Harcourt. Pray do not let him see you in this state.
State? What do you mean? I am in a beautiful state.
I should lose my character.
That would be a fortunate epoch in your life, Cool.
Your father would discharge me.
Cool, my father is an old ass.
Retire to your own room, for heaven's sake, Mr. Charles.
I'll do so for my own sake. I say, old fellow, just hold the door steady while I go in.
This way. Now then, take care.
Cool. Is the breakfast ready?
Quite ready, Sir Harcourt.
Apropos, I omitted to mention that I expect Squire Harkaway to join us this morning, and you must prepare for my departure to Oak Hall immediately.
Leave town in the middle of the season, Sir Harcourt, so unprecedented a proceeding.
It is. I confess it. There is but one power that could effect such a miracle, and that is divinity.
How?
In female form, of course. Cool, I'm about to present society with the second Lady Courtly. Young, blushing, 18. Lovely. I have her portrait, rich. I have her banker's account, an heiress, and a Venus.
Lady Courtly could be none other.
Yeah, how cool your manners are above your station. Apropos, I shall find no further use for my brocade dressing gown.
I thank you, Sir Harcourt. Might I ask who the fortunate lady is?
Certainly, Miss Grace Harkaway, the niece of my old friend Max.
Have you never seen the lady, sir?
Never. That is, yes, 8 years ago, having been, as you know, on the continent for the last 7 years, I have not had the opportunity of paying my devoir. Our connection and betrothal was very extraordinary one. Her father's estates were contiguous to mine, and being a penurious, miserly, ugly old scoundrel, he made a market of my indiscretion and supplies my extravagance with large sums of money on mortgages, his great desire being to unite the two properties. About 7 years ago, he died, leaving Grace, a girl, to the guardianship of her uncle, with this will: if, on attaining the age of 19, she would consent to marry me, I should receive those deeds and all his property as her dowry. If she refused to comply with this condition, they should revert to my heir, a presumptive or apparent. She consents.
Who would not?
I consent to receive her £15,000 a year.
Who would not?
So prepare, cool, prepare. But where is my boy, Charles? Where is Charles?
Oh, why? He is gone out, Sir Harcourt. Yes, gone out to take a walk.
Oh, poor child. A perfect child in heart, a sober, placid mind, the simplicity and verdure of boyhood kept fresh and unsullied by any contact with society. Tell me, cool, what time was he abed last night?
9:30, Sir Harcourt.
9:30. Beautiful. What an original idea. Reposing in cherub slumbers while all around him teems with drinking and debauchery. Primitive sweetness of nature, no pilot-coated, bear-skinning brawling.
Oh, Sir Harcourt.
No cigar smoking.
Faints at the smell of one.
No brandy and water bibbing.
Doesn't know the taste of anything stronger than barley water.
No night parading.
Never heard the clock strike 12, except at noon.
In fact, he is my son, and became a gentleman by right of paternity. He inherited my manners.
Mr. Harkaway.
Squire Harkaway, fellow, or Max Harkaway, another time. Ah, Sir Harcourt, I'm devilish glad to see you. Give me your fist. Dang it, but I'm glad to see you. Let me see. 6, 7 years or more since we have met. How quickly they have flown.
Oh, Max, give me your hand, old boy. Oh, he is glad to see me. There is no fawning pretense about that squeeze. Cool, you may retire.
Why, you are looking quite rosy.
Rosie, am I too florid?
Not a bit, not a bit.
I thought so. Cool said I had put too much on.
How comes it, Courtly, you managed to retain your youth? See, I'm as grey as an old badger, while you are as black as a young rook. I say, whose head grew your hair, eh?
Permit me to remark that all the beauties of my person are of home manufacture. Why should you be surprised at my youth? I have scarcely thrown off the giddiness of a very boy, elasticity of lamb, buoyancy of soul. Remark this position. I hold that attitude for 10 minutes at Lady Acid's last reunion at the express desire of one of our first sculptors, while he was making a sketch of me for Apollo.
Making a butt of thee for the jibes.
Oh, Lady Sarah, sarcasm started up and, pointing to my face, ejaculated, "Good gracious! Does not Sir Harcourt remind you of the countenance of Ajax in the Pompeian portrait?"
Ajax, a humbug.
Oh, you are complimentary.
I'm a plain man and always speak my mind. What's in a face or figure? Does a Grecian nose entail a good temper? Does a waspish waist indicate a good heart? Or do oily, perfumed locks necessarily thatch a well-furnished brain?
It's an undeniable fact. Plain people always praise the beauties of the mind.
Excuse the insinuation. I thought the First Lady Courtly had surfeited you with beauty.
No. She lived 14 months with me and then eloped with an intimate friend. Etiquette compelled me to challenge the seducer, so I received satisfaction and a bullet in the shoulder at the same time. However, I had the consolation of knowing that he was the handsomest man of the age. She did not insult me by running away with a damned ill-looking scoundrel.
That certainly was flattering.
I felt so, as I pocketed the £10,000 damages.
That must have been a great balm to your sore honor.
It was. Max, my honor would have died without it, for on that year the wrong horse won the Derby by some mistake. It was one of the luckiest chances, a thing that does not happen twice in a man's lifetime, and the opportunity of getting rid of his wife and his debts at the same time.
Tell the truth, Courtly. Did you not feel a little frayed in your delicacy, your honor now, eh?
No, not a whit. Why should I? I married money and I received it, virgin gold. My delicacy and honor had nothing to do with it. The world pities the bereaved husband when it should congratulate. No, the affair made a sensation and I was the object. Besides, it is vulgar to make a parade of one's feelings, however acute they may be. Impenetrability of countenance is the sure side of your highly bred man of fashion.
So a man must therefore lose his wife and his money with a smile. In fact, everything he possesses but his temper.
Exactly. And greet ruin with a vive la bagatelle. For example, your modish beauty never discomposes the shape of her features with convulsive laughter. A smile rewards the bon mot and also shows the whiteness of her teeth. She never weeps impromptu. Tears might destroy the economy of her cheek. Scenes are vulgar, hysterics obsolete. She exhibits a calm...
Well, give me the girl that will fly at your eyes in an argument and stick to her point like a fox to his own tail.
But etiquette, Max. Remember etiquette.
Damned etiquette! I have seen a man who thought it sacrilege to eat fish with a knife that would not scruple to rob his brother of his birthright. Your thoroughbred will seldom kick over the traces of good feeling. That's my opinion, and I don't care who knows it.
Pardon me, etiquette is the pulse of society by regulating which the body politic is retained in health. I consider myself one of the faculty in the art.
Well, well, you are a living libel upon common sense, for you are old enough to know better.
Old enough? What do you mean, old? I still retain all of my little juvenile indiscretions, which your niece's beauty must teach me to discard. I have not sown my wild oats yet.
Time you did at 63.
63? Good heavens! 40! Upon my life, 40 next March.
Why, you are older than I am.
Oh, you are old enough to be my father.
Well, if I am, I am. That's etiquette, I suppose. Poor Grace, how often have I pitied her fate, that a young and beautiful creature should be driven into wretched splendor or miserable poverty.
Wretched? Wherefore? Lady Courtly wretched? Impossible.
Will she not be compelled to marry you, whether she likes you or not? A choice between you and poverty? And hang me if it isn't a tie. But why do you not introduce your son Charles to me? I have not seen him since he was a child. You would never permit him to accept any of my invitations to spend his vacation at Oak Hall. Of course, we shall have the pleasure of his company now.
He is not fit to enter society yet. He is a studious, sober boy.
Boy? Why, he's 25.
Oh, gracious Max, you will permit me to know my own son's age. He is not 20.
I'm dumb.
Cool. You will excuse me while I indulge in the process of dressing. Prepare my toilette. That is a ceremony which, with me, supersedes all others. I consider it a duty which every gentleman owes to society, to render himself as agreeable an object as possible. And the least compliment a mortal can pay to nature, when she honors him by bestowing extra care in the manufacture of his person, is to display her taste to the best possible advantage. And so, au revoir.
That's a good soul. He has his faults, and who has not? 40 years of age. Oh, monstrous. But he does look uncommonly young for 60, spite of his foreign locks and complexion.
Who's my friend with the stick and gaiters, I wonder? One of the family? Governor, maybe?
Who's this? Oh, Charles, is that you, my boy? How are you? How are you?
He knows me. He's too respectable for a bailiff. How are you?
Your father has just left me.
Devil he has. He's been dead these last 10 years. Oh, I see. He thinks I'm young Courtly. Well, the honor you would confer on me, I must unwillingly disclaim I am not Mr. Courtly.
I beg pardon? A friend, I suppose?
Oh, no, most intimate friend of years, distantly related to the family. One of my ancestors married one of his, Adam and Eve, a long way back.
Are you on a visit here?
Yes, oh, yes. Rather
As a friend of Sir Harcourt's, I shall feel honored by your company at my house, Oak Hall, Gloucestershire.
Your name is?
Harkaway, Max Harkaway.
Harkaway. Let me see. I ought to be related to the Harkaways somehow.
A wedding is about to come off. Will you take a part on the occasion?
With pleasure. Any part but that of the husband.
Have you any previous engagement?
Well, I was thinking, let me see. Promised to meet my tailor and his accountant tomorrow. I'll postpone that. Have you good shooting?
Shooting? Why, there's no shooting at this time of the year.
Oh, I'm in no hurry. I can wait till the season, of course. I was only speaking precautionary. You have good shooting?
The best in the country.
Make yourself comfortable. Say no more. I'm your man. Wait till you see how I'll murder your preserves.
Do you hunt?
Pardon me, but would you repeat that? Would you repeat that? I say, would you repeat that?
You have a line. You ride?
Some got lost there.
You
Everything, from a blood to a broomstick. Only give me a flash of lightning and let me get on the back of it, and damn me if I wouldn't astonish the elements. I could have lived around the earth in a very considerable less than 40 minutes.
Your
I
line.
did the wrong script.
Your line is no, for then rises up the idol.
No.
Asher, I think you're using the wrong script because you cut me off several times.
Well, I know about the wrong one, but a different one, perhaps. The only one I have.
Somebody tell me which script, who's got the right script, and I'll change mine if I'm wrong.
Bennett, you have the same one that I do, I think.
Okay.
I'll put the link in the chat real quick.
Okay, so, Asher, are you changing scripts then?
I only have one script.
Somebody, Dave, Cedar, weigh in, please. Who's got the script that we're all using? Which one of us?
Yes, but mine's a printout. I can't send it to you.
No, but which one of ours? Which
It's
one
the
of us?
1911 version.
Dave, which one of us is doing the correct lines? If it's Asher, I'll
I think it's Asher. Asher
Okay.
has the extra.
So did
No,
somebody?
I think it's Ben.
It is
I have
Ben.
the same script as Ben.
I
As
have the
do I.
same script as Ben.
Well, I think we've got some.
I have
mix-up.
the same
There's a
script as
problem.
Ben.
Okay.
That's 1911, I'm pretty sure.
Those of us who have the same lines as Ben do have the 1911. I looked at the edition earlier. I've also put the link for this edition in the Zoom chat, if anybody cares to open it to check.
Yeah.
I'm not able to display the two screens.
Here, I can open up the script and see if it's. Somebody just tell me what page we're on. Actually, it won't matter because it's
16.
Pages.
Mine
16
says
in the
12.
script.
Oh dear.
Mine says page 12.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
page 16. No,
All right. I had the laughing line, and the next line was Dazzles. I'd put a girdle around the earth, about the earth, in very considerably less than 40 minutes. Do you not have that line at all?
I have that line. I just said that. And then you laughed, and I have a long speech for you.
All right. Well, can we go back then? I didn't hear it that way. Let's go back.
Sure.
I can't be too much help here because unfortunately I'm
How do we go? Why don't we start with do you hunt?
Do you hunt?
Pardon me, but will you repeat that?
And then I have you saying aside, delicious and expensive idea.
No, we got extra lines. All right, we're going to have to wing this, folks, because we got different
All right.
scripts.
You ride?
Anything, everything from a blood to a broomstick. Only catch me a flash of lightning, let me get on the back of it, and damn me if I wouldn't astonish the elements. I'll put a girdle round the earth in a very considerable less than 40 minutes.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, the bottle, that lends a luster to the soul. When the world comes put on its nightcap and extinguishes the sun, then comes the bottle. Oh, mighty wine! Don't ask me to apostrophize. Wine and love are the only two indescribable things in nature. But I prefer the wine, you see, because its consequences are not so entailed and are more easily got rid of.
How so?
Well, love ends in matrimony, wine in soda.
Well, I can promise you as fine a bottle as ever was cracked.
Never mind the bottle, just give me the wine. Say no more, but when I arrive, just shake one of my hands, put the key of the cellar into the other, and if I don't make myself intimately acquainted with its internal organization, well, I say nothing. Time will show.
I foresee some happy days.
And I some glorious nights.
It mustn't be a flying visit,
Oh, I despise the word. I'll stop a month with you.
or a year or two.
I'll live and die with you.
Remember, Max Harkaway,
Harkaway.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire, I'll remember. Fare you well. Sailor, tally-ho.
Tally-ho!
Well, there am I. Courted for a couple of years at least. Old boy wants somebody to ride his horses, shoot his game, and keep a restraint on the morals of the parish. Well, I'm eligible. What a lucky accident to meet young Courtly last night. Who could have thought it? Yesterday I could not make certain of a dinner except at my own proper peril. Today I would flirt with a banquet.
What infernal row was that? What? Are you here still?
Yes. Ain't you delighted? I'll ring and send the servants for my luggage.
The devil you will. Why, you don't mean to say you seriously intend to take up a permanent residence here?
Now that is a most inhospitable insinuation.
Might I ask your name?
With a deal of pleasure. Richard Dazzle, late of the Unattached Volunteers, vulgarly entitled the Dirty Buffs.
Then, Mr. Richard Dazzle, I have the honor of wishing you a very good morning. Martin, show this gentleman the door.
If he does, I'll kick Martin out of it. No offense. Now, sir, permit me to place a dioramic view of your conduct before you. After bringing you safely home this morning, after indulgently waiting whatever you took a passing fancy, a knocker or bell pull, after conducting a retreat that would have reflected honor on Napoleon, you would kick me into the street like a mangy cur, and that's what you call gratitude? Now, to show you how superior I am to petty malice, I give you an unlimited invitation to my house, my country house, to remain as long as you please.
Your house?
Oak Hall, Gloucestershire, fine old place. For further particulars, see Roadbook. That is, it nominally belongs to my old friend and relation Max Harkaway, but I'm privileged. Capital, old fellow, shall we say honoured?
Sir, permit me to hesitate a moment. Let me see, I go back to college tomorrow, so I shall not be missing. Tradesmen begin to dun. I hear thunder. Here is shelter ready for me.
Oh, Mr. Charles, Mr. Solomon Isaacs is in the hall and swears he will remain till he has arrested you.
Does he? Sorry he is so obstinate. Take him my compliments, and I will bet him 5 to 1 he will not.
Double acquits with my kind regards.
But, sir, he has discovered the house in Curzon Street. He says he is aware the furniture at least belongs to you, and he will put a man in immediately.
That's awkward. What's to be done?
Ask him whether he couldn't make it a woman.
I must trust that to fate.
Well, I will give you my acceptance if it will be of any use to you. 'Tis none of me.
No, sir, but in reply to your most generous and kind invitation, if you be in earnest, I shall feel delighted to accept it.
Certainly.
Then off we go, through the stables, down the mews, and so slip through my friend's fingers.
But stay, you must do the polite. Say farewell to him before you part. Damn it, don't just cut him.
You jest.
Here, lend me a card. Loan me a pencil. Now, our respects to Mr. Isaacs. Sorry to have been prevented from seeing him.
I beg your pardon, that's my pencil.
Oh, excuse me. Well, send him up some game.
Yes, we'll send him a couple of rabbits.
Yes, we'll send him a couple of rats.
Don't let my father see him.
What's this? Mr. Charles Courtly, PPC, returns thanks for obliging inquiries.
And now we move to Act 2. The lawn before Oak Hall, a fine Elizabethan mansion. A drawing room is seen through large French windows in the back. Statues, urns, and garden chairs about the stage.
James, Miss Grace desires me to request that you will watch at the avenue and let her know when the squire's carriage is seen on the London road.
I will go to the lodge.
Ow, I do long to see what kind of man Sir Argold Potley is. They say he's 60, so he must be old, and consequently ugly. If I were Miss Grace, I'd rather give up all my fortune and marry the man I like than go to church with a stuffed eel skin. But taste is everything. She doesn't seem to care whether he's 60 or 16. Jokes at love, prepares for matrimony as she would for dinner. Said it's a necessary evil, and what can't be cured must be endured. Now I say this is against all nature, and she's either no woman or a deeper one than I am. If she prefers an old man to a young one, here she comes, looking as cheerfully as if she was going to marry Mr. Jenks. My Mr. Jenks! Nobody won't lead to the halter until I have that honor.
Well, Pert, any signs of the squire yet?
No, Miss Grace, but James has gone to watch the road.
In my uncle's letter, he mentions a Mr. Dazzle, whom he has invited. So you must prepare a room for him. He is some friend of my husband, that is to be, and my uncle seems to have taken an extraordinary predilection for him. Apropos, I must not forget to have a bouquet for the dear old man when he arrives.
The dear old man? Do you mean Sir Harcourt?
So, I mean my uncle, of course. What do I care for Sir Harcourt Courtly?
Isn't it odd, miss? You've never seen your intended, though it has been so long since you were betrothed?
Not at all. Marriage matters are conducted nowadays in a most mercantile manner. Consequently, a previous acquaintance is by no means indispensable. Besides, my prescribed husband has been upon the continent for the benefit of his property. They say a southern climate is a great restorer of consumptive estates.
Well, miss, for my own part, I should like to have a good look at the bargain before I paid for it, especially when one's life is the price of the article. But why, Mum, do you consent to marry in this blind man's buff sort of manner? What would you think if he were not quite so old?
I should think he was a little younger.
I should like him all the better.
That wouldn't I. A young husband might expect affection and nonsense, which 'twould be deceit in me to render, nor would he permit me to remain with my uncle. Sir Harcourt takes me with the encumbrances on his estate, and I shall beg to be left among the rest of the livestock.
Oh, miss, but one day you might chance to stumble over the man. What could you do then?
Do? But beg the man's pardon and request the man to pick me up again.
Ah, you never were in love, miss.
I never was, nor will be, till I am tired of myself and common sense. Love is a pleasant scapegoat for a little epidemic madness. I must have been inoculated in my infancy, for the infection passes over poor me in contempt.
2 gentlemen, Miss Grace, have just alighted.
Very well, James. Love is pictured as a boy. In another century, there will be wiser and paint him as a fool, with cap and bells, without a thought above the jingling of his own folly. Now, Kurt, remember, this is a maxim. A woman is always in love with one of 2 things.
What are they, miss?
A man or herself. And I know which is the most profitable.
I wonder what Majenks would say if I was to ask him, "La, here comes Mr. Metal, his rival contemporary solicitor, as he calls him, a nasty, prying, ugly wretch. What brings him here? He comes puffed with some news."
I have secured the only newspaper in the village. My character, as an attorney at law, depended on the monopoly of its information. I took it up by chance when this paragraph met my astonished view. We understand that the contract of marriage, so long in abeyance on account of the lady's minority, is about to be celebrated at Oak Hall, Gloucestershire, the well-known and magnificent mansion of Maximilian Harkaway, Esquire, between Sir Harcourt Courtly, baronet of fashionable celebrity, and Miss Grace Harkaway, niece to the said Mr. Harkaway. The preparations are proceeding in the good old English style. Well, is it possible? I seldom swear except in a witness box, but damn me, had it been known in the village, my reputation would have been lost. I mean, my voice in the parlour of the Red Lion mute, and Jenks, a fellow who calls himself a lawyer without more capability than a broomstick and as much impudence as a young barrister after getting a verdict by mistake, why, he would actually have taken the Reverend Mr. Spout by the button, which is now my sole privilege. Ah, here is Mrs. Pert. I couldn't have hit upon a better person. I'll cross-examine her. Lady's maid to Miss Grace, confidential purloiner of second-hand silk, Elise Prius of her mistress. Ah, she sits on the woolsack in the pantry and dictates the laws of kitchen etiquette. Mrs. Pert, good morning. Permit me to say, and my word as a legal character is not unduly considered, I venture to affirm that you look quite like the...
Law, Mr. Metal.
Exactly, like the law.
Oh, indeed, complimentary. I confess, like the law. Tedious proxy made up of musty paper. You shan't have a long suit of me. Good morning.
Stay, Mrs. Pert. Don't calumniate my calling or disseminate vulgar prejudices.
Vulgar? You talk of vulgarity to me? You whose sole employment is to speak about like a pig, snouting out the dust hole of society and feeding upon the bad ends of vice are you. You live upon the world's iniquity, you miserable specimen of a bad 6 and 8 pence.
But Mrs. Pert.
Don't butt me, sir. I won't be butted by any such low fellow.
This is slander, and action will lie.
Let it lie. Lying is your trade. I'll tell you what, Mr. Metal, if I had my will, I would soon put a check on your prying propensities. I'll treat you as the farmers do, inquisitive odds.
How?
I would wring your nose.
Not much information elicited from that witness. Jenks is at the bottom of this. I have very little hesitation in saying Jenks is a libelous rascal. I heard reports that he was undermining my character here through Mrs. Pert, and now I'm certain of it. Assault is expensive, but I certainly will put by a small weekly stipendium until I can afford to kick Jenks.
Come on, this way.
Ah, whom have we here? Visitors. I'll address them.
Well, who's this, I wonder? One of the family? I must know him. Ah! How are you?
Quite well. Just arrived. Might I request the honor of knowing whom I address?
Richard Dazzle, Esquire. And you?
Mark Meddle, attorney at law.
What detained you?
My dear. I have just seen such a woman.
Permit me to introduce you to my very old friend, Meddle. He's a capital fellow. Know him?
I feel honored. Who is your friend?
Oh, he? What, my friend? Oh, Augustus Hamilton.
How do you do? There she is again.
Oh, why, that is Miss Grace.
Of course, Grace.
I'll go and introduce myself.
What are you talking about? Would you insult my old friend Puddle by running away? I say, Puddle, just show my friend the lions while I say, how do you do to my young friend Grace? Cultivate his acquaintance.
Mr. Hamilton, might I take the liberty?
Confound the fellow.
What did you remark?
He's gone. Oh, are you still here, Mr. Thingamary Puddle?
Medal, sir. Medal in the list of attorneys.
Well, Muddle or Puddle or whoever you are a bore.
How excessively odd. Mrs. Pert said I was a pig. Now I'm a bore. They're going the whole hog.
Mr. Thingamy, will you take a word of advice?
I feel honored.
Get out.
Do you mean to... I don't quite understand.
Delighted to quicken your apprehension. You are an ass, Puddle.
Another quadruped. I wonder what they'll make of me next. Yes, beautiful. I wish it called me something libelous, but that would be too much to expect. Anything else?
Some miserable, pettifogging scoundrel.
Good.
What do you mean by laughing at me?
Oh, excellent. Delicious.
Mr. Are you ambitious of a kicking?
Oh, very, very. Go on, kick, go on.
Here she comes. I'll speak to her.
But, sir.
Oh, go to the devil.
Oh, there's a chance lost. Gone. I have no hesitation in saying, and I say it boldly, that in another minute I should have been kicked. I mean, literally kicked. A legal luxury. Costs, damages, and actions rose up like skyrockets in my aspiring soul, with golden tails reaching to the infinity of my hopes. Oh, they're coming this way. Mr. Hamilton in close conversation with Lady Courtly, that is to be. Crim, con, Courtly versus Hamilton. Damages problematical. Medal, chief witness for the plaintiff. Guinea a day, professional man. I'll take down their conversation verbatim.
Perhaps you would follow your friend into the dining room. Refreshment after your long journey must be requisite.
Pardon me, madam, but the lovely garden and the loveliness before me is a better refreshment than I could procure in any dining room.
Your company and compliments arrive together.
I trust that a passing remark will not spoil so welcome an introduction as this by offending you.
I am not certain that anything you could say would offend me.
I never meant.
I thought not. In turn, pardon me, when I request you will commence your visit with this piece of information. I consider compliments impertinent and sweet-meat language fulsome.
I would condemn my tongue to a Pythagorean silence if I thought it could attempt to flatter.
It strikes me, sir, that you are a stray bee from the hive of fashion. If so, reserve your honey for its proper cell. A truce to compliments. You have just arrived from town, I apprehend?
This moment I am left mighty London under the fever of a full season, groaning with the noisy pulse of wealth and the giddy whirling brain of fashion. Enchanting, busy London. How have I prevailed on myself to desert you? Next week the new ballet comes out, the week after comes Ascot. Oh.
How agonizing must be the reflection.
Torture. Can you inform me how you managed to avoid suicide here? If there was but an opera even, within 20 miles. We couldn't get up a rustic ballet among the village girls? No?
I'm afraid you would find that difficult. How I contrive to support life, I know not. It is wonderful. But I have not precisely contemplated suicide yet, nor do I miss the opera.
How can you manage to kill time?
I can't. Men talk of killing time, while time quietly kills them. I have many employments. This week I devote to study and various amusements. Next week to being married. The following week to repentance, perhaps.
Married?
You seem surprised. I believe it is of frequent occurrence in the metropolis, is it not?
Might I ask to whom?
A gentleman who has been strongly recommended to me for the situation of husband.
What an extraordinary match. You seem to laugh at love.
Love? Why, the very word is a breathing satire upon man's reason, a mania indigenous to humanity. Nature's jester who plays off tricks upon the world and trips up common sense. When I'm in love, I'll write an almanac for very lack of wit, prognosticate the sighing of season, when to beware of tears, about this time expect matrimony to be prevalent. Why should I lay out my life in love's bonds upon the bare security of a man's word?
The squire, madam, has just arrived, and another gentleman with him.
My intended, I suppose.
I perceive you are one of the railers against what is termed the follies of high life.
No, not particularly. I deprecate all folly. By what prerogative can the West End mint issue absurdity, which, if coined in the East, would be voted vulgar?
By a sovereign right, because it has fashion's head upon its side, and that stamps it current.
Poor fashion, for how many sins hast thou to answer?
Pardon me, madam, you wrong yourself to rail against your own inheritance, the kingdom to which loveliness and wit attest your title.
A mighty realm, forsooth, with milliners for ministers, a cabinet of coxcombs, envy for my homage, ruin for my revenue, my right of rule depending on the shape of a bonnet or the set of pellis, with the next grand noodle as my heir apparent. Mr. Hamilton, when I am crowned, I shall feel happy to abdicate in your favor.
What did she mean by that? Hang me if I can understand her. She is evidently not used to society. Takes every word I say for infallible truth. It requires the solution of a compliment as if it were a problem in Euclid. She said she was about to marry, but I rather imagine she was in jest. Upon my life, I feel very queer at the contemplation of such an idea. I'll follow her. Perhaps this booby can inform me something about her. What the devil is he at?
It won't do. No, it's not to be done.
What do you mean?
The council retained, cause to come off.
Cause to come off?
His Grace is about to be married.
Is it possible?
Certainly, if I had the drawing out of the deeds. Oh yes, I dare say, information being scarce in the market, I hope to make mine valuable.
Married. Married!
Now I shall have another chance.
I'll run and ascertain the truth of this from Dazzle.
It's of no use. He either dare not kick me, or he can't afford it. In either case, it is beneath my notice. Who comes here? Can it be Sir Harcourt Courtly himself? It could be no other. Sir, I have the honour to bid you welcome to Oak Hall and the village of Oldborough.
Excessively polite. Sir, thank you.
The township contains 2,000 inhabitants.
Does it? I am delighted to hear it.
I can charge him for that. 6 and 8 is not much, but it's a beginning. If you will permit me, I can inform you of the different commodities for which it is famous.
Much obliged, but here comes Sir Harcourt Courtly, my master, and Mr. Harkaway. Any other time I shall feel delighted.
Oh, mistook the man for the master.
Here we are at last. Now give ye welcome to Oak Hall, Sir Harcourt, heartily.
Fool, assist me.
Well, you require unpacking as carefully as my best bin of port. Well, now you are decanted. Tell me, what did you think of my park as we came along?
That it would never come to an end. You said it was only a stone's throw from your infernal lodge to the house. Why, it's 10 miles at least.
I'll do it in 10 minutes any day.
Yes, in a steam carriage. Perfume my handkerchief.
Don't do it. Don't. Perfume in the country? Why, it's high treason in the very face of nature. 'Tis introducing the robbed to the robber. Here are the sweets from which your fulsome essences are pilfered and libeled with their names. Don't insult them, too.
Oh, call me a bouquet, my man.
Meadow, how are you? This is Lawyer Meadow.
Oh, I took him for one of your people.
Naturally. Sir Harcourt Courtly, I have the honour to congratulate. Well, happy occasion approaches. I have no hesitation in saying this very happy occasion approaches.
Cool. Is the conversation addressed towards me?
I believe so, Sir Harcourt.
Oh, certainly. I was complimenting you.
Sir, you are very good. The honour is undeserved, but I am only in the habit of receiving compliments from the fair sex. Men's admiration is so damnably insipid.
I'd hoped to make a unit on that occasion.
Yes, and you hoped to put an infernal number of ciphers after your unit on that and any other occasion.
Very good. Why, I did hope to have the honor of drawing out the deeds, for whatever Jenks may say to the contrary, I have no hesitation in saying...
Would your Lady Courtly be visible at so unfashionable an hour as this? I should beg to be introduced.
Visible? Ever since 6 this morning, I warrant ye. 2 to 1 she is at dinner.
Dinner? Is it possible? Lady Courtly dine at 1:30 post-meridian?
I rather prefer that hour to peck a little my...
Oh, dear me, who was addressing you?
Oh, I beg pardon?
Here, James. Tell Miss Grace to come here directly. Now, prepare, Courtly, for though I say it, she is, with the exception of my bay mare, Kitty, the handsomest thing in the country. Considering she is a biped, she's a wonder. Full of blood, sound and wind and limb, plenty of bone, sweet coat in fine condition, with a thoroughbred step as dainty as a pet greyhound.
Damn me, don't compare her to a horse.
Well, I wouldn't, but she's almost as fine a creature.
Oh,
very fine creature. Close similarity, abounding to identity.
Good gracious, sir. What can a lawyer know about women?
Everything. The consistorial court is a fine study of the character. I have no hesitation in saying, and I say it boldly, that I've examined more women than Jenks or...
Oh, damn Jenks!
Sir, thank you. Damn him again, sir. Damn him again.
Oh, my dear uncle.
Ah, Grace, you little jade, come here.
Oh dear, she is a rural Venus.
Won't you kiss your old
and
uncle?
delighted. I'm astonished and delighted. Namport, my privilege in embryo. It's very tantalizing, though.
You are not glad to see me, you are not. Mwah!
No, that is too much. I shall do something horrible presently if this goes on. I should be so sorry to curtail my little bullition of affection, but may I be permitted?
Of course you may. Their Grace is Sir Harcourt, your husband that will be. Go to him, girl.
Permit me to do homage to the charms, the presence of which you have placed me in sight of paradise.
Ah, old fellow, how are you?
I'm glad to see you. Are you comfortably quartered yet, eh?
Splendidly quartered. What a place you've got here, Hamilton. Hamilton. Permit me to introduce my friend, Augustus Hamilton. Capital fellow. Drinks like a sieve, rides like a thunderstorm.
Sir, I'm devilish glad to see you. Here, Sir Harcourt, permit me to introduce to you...
The devil.
What's the matter?
Why, that is my governor, by Jupiter.
What, old whiskers? You don't say that.
What's to be done now?
Mr. Hamilton, Sir Harcourt Courtly. Sir Harcourt Courtly, Mr. Hamilton.
Hamilton! Good gracious. Bless me. Well, Charles, is it possible? Why, Max, that is my son.
Shall I do?
Your son?
Your son, Sir Harcourt. Have you a son as old as that gentleman?
No! That is, yes, not by 20 years. Charles, why don't you answer me, sir?
What shall I say?
Deny your identity.
Capital. What's the matter, sir?
How came you down here, sir?
By one of Newman's best fours in 12 hours and a quarter.
Isn't your name Charles Courtly?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you mean to say that you are usually called Augustus Hamilton?
Lamentable fact, and quite correct.
Cool. Is that my son?
No, sir. It is not Mr. Charles, but it is very like him.
I cannot understand all this.
I can.
Give him a touch of the indignant.
Allow me to say, sir, what do you call him, Hartley?
Hartley, sir. Courtly, sir.
Well,
Courtly.
or court heart, or whatever your name may be, I say your conduct is and were it not for the presence of this lady, I should feel inclined to.
So, no. This cannot be my son. He would never address me in that way.
What is all this?
Sir, your likeness to my son Charles is so astonishing that for a moment the equilibrium of my etiquette, upon my life, permit me to request your pardon.
Sir Harcourt, don't apologize. Don't. Bring an action. I'm a witness.
Oh, someone take this man away.
Lunch is on the table, sir.
Miss Harkaway, I never swore before a lady in my life, except when I promised to love and cherish the late Lady Courtly, which I took to preface with an apology. I was compelled to the ceremony and consequently not answerable for the language. But to that gentleman's identity, I would have pledged my hair.
Table called for, I suspect the answer would be no effect.
I have something very particular to communicate.
Can't listen at present.
I can afford you information which I...
Don't bother.
Look at the devil.
Now, I have no hesitation in saying, and I say it boldly, that this is the height of ingratitude. Oh, Mr. Cool, can you oblige me?
Why, what is all this?
A small account versus you, to giving information concerning the last census of the population of Oldborough and vicinity. 6 and 8 pence.
Oh, you mean to make me pay for this, do you?
Unconditionally.
Well, I have no objection. The charge is fair, but remember, I'm a servant on board wages. Will you throw in a little advice gratis if I give you the money?
I will.
A fellow has insulted me. I want to abuse him. What terms are actionable?
You may call him anything you please, providing there are no witnesses.
Oh, may I? Then, you rascally, pettifogging scoundrel!
Hello?
You mean dirty disgrace to your profession?
Libel, slander!
Aye, but where are your witnesses?
Give me the costs, 6 and 8 pence.
I deny that you gave me the information at all.
You do?
Yes. Where are your witnesses?
Jenks is at the bottom of this. I have no hesitation in saying, and I say it boldly, damn Jenks.
What can I do?
And, oh, no, we're not going on to the third act yet. We're going to take our break here.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
I think I see the problem with the various, what we've had here. There are 2 Yale scripts. The one we wanted was 1911, and I think some people have got the previous one. So I think that's why we're getting these discrepancies. That's the only thing I can figure out at the moment, but we'll have to forge ahead with it. So.
Well, we should thank our lucky stars because the website actually had 14 different scripts.
Yes, I know. Paula,
Yes,
are you there?
I am.
I want to check something. Have you been following along?
I seem to have the same script that Ben has.
Okay, that probably is the right one. Let me check something with my entrance. I can't give you the exact page because I'm actually working from a combination of scripts. But can you find where I come on? I just want to see if we have the same thing.
In which act?
Third act, the upcoming act.
Oh, yes. I'm actually on that page. So
here I am. Did you call me gay, etc. Now, when we get down to the delighted to have the honor of making your acquaintance line, you see that?
I mean, I have, after the scene description, I have Max saying, what can I do? And
Oh.
Sir Harcourt saying, get rid of them.
Oh, no, I'm
civilly.
talking about further on when Dolly comes in.
Oh, when Dolly comes in.
I can't give you a page number.
Page 39 at the very bottom.
Okay, hang on a sec. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes.
You see the speech where you get behind me and start feeding me the lines I should be saying? It's a little bit short. Do you have the bit that I echo you?
Yes, I have delight. The first one is delighted to have the honor.
And then I say delighted to have the honor, etc. Right?
Right.
Okay, we have the same. We are on the same page. That's what I was concerned about, because I have a a printout of the wrong script, which I had done much earlier on, and rather than print out the whole thing again, I simply took my part and found the differences and put them in. So, so we should be okay. But I didn't want to. I couldn't. My printer is running out of ink, so I just couldn't. But anyway, it should work out fine. Just to confuse things more. Anyway, I've got to go for a minute.
Yeah, so Asher, are you reading off of a version off of the screen, or do you have a hard copy? Stephen, it seemed to be working out really well with you reading on the screen there. So I guess you were able to get it to do both things. So
well, we're pretty much able to fill in the what I don't have in my version. I can fill in listening and know where my cues come.
okay, but you have a hard copy. You're not reading.
I have a hard copy. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I've actually been able to move, so I have I have my big monitor out, so I can see everyone and everything.
How's your wife doing?
Probably go get some cover up then.
So
I would prefer going forward that when any future productions that we all have the same hard copy to read from. That's my preference.
I don't think I'm not sure it's possible. Looking ahead at some of the stuff we're doing, there are so many different versions out there. I've been reading different versions of Night of the Burning Pestle, and even in something like that, there are changes. So I'm not sure how we're going to make that happen.
What if we get the one you want to work from,
Yes.
turn it into a PDF, and then just email that around everyone, and then everybody.
I'd be willing to buy the hard copy if I have to of the one we're going to work from. I'd rather not work from a PDF. I'd rather work from a hard copy. If it costs me a couple of bucks, it costs me $bucks.
Yeah, but you could print a PDF also.
Pardon me?
You can also print off from a PDF, and then you have a hard copy.
I mean, I really
hard copy. I mean a bound copy.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, actually, for a couple of the ones we're doing, we do have the. I've done Puck Press editions of both the Night of the Burning Pestle and of Lysistrata that are being done this month.
Well, that's beautiful. That's good.
We could use those. I mean, I'm a big fan of trying to read on screen, and I'm happy to take time to help people to do that, because I mean, it does then give us a greater flexibility of having texts that are different from the ones we usually do. But if not, Asher, if you prefer to have a book, we can also send you books of those.
Well, I would have liked that option to perhaps today, but I don't know how to get in touch with you and make arrangements to do what you're suggesting you'd help me with. I came onto the I logged in early with the hopes of doing just that with you, but there was never a place to ask.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, that's sort of what I intended for at 7. And
that's what I was.
You had difficulties getting on with that.
Yeah,
I saw a quarter before, but I was just doing some other stuff and didn't get on till right at 7. But anyways, but yeah, I'm so glad. This is great. I'm not familiar with this play, and I'm having a lot of fun hearing it. And you're all doing a terrific job. So thank you very much. David, what do you think? We're almost at 8:35. Do you want to begin soon? Or
Is everyone back?
let's see.
I need a couple of minutes. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Good to know. Yeah. This is.
Someone please call out the page number.
We'll be at page 34.
Thank you. That's what I thought. I just verifying. Thank you.
Yes, the 1911 edition, and David has the doing the annotation, the annotated London Assurance with all.
Yeah, it's well, we hadn't settled on a specific edition. I downloaded this one quite a while back, but when I was first thinking about about doing it, didn't even realize there were so many variations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, seems that everybody who has directed or produced it has come up with their own variation based upon the actors with whom they are dealing.
Yeah, the RSCs is another whole other version, or at least some variations, that's for sure.
As is the one from the National that Simon Russell Beale did.
Wow.
Well, the good news is that this always had punctuation. We could have been dealing with the original Shakespeare.
Hey, the clues in Shakespeare's punctuation
will be on Saturday.
are really helpful and effective and actually reflect Playhouse practices, unlike things like this that were more, further away from the author.
Are structured, as far as I'm concerned, very intuitively. They almost don't need punctuation, but I mean, as we all know, later editors decided to put commas and colons and semicolons wherever they damn well pleased, which may have actually messed with the original rhythm, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get my hands on some first folio versions. I mean, not the originals, obviously.
Well, I mean, I do publish all of the plays in these pocket first folio editions that we use for most of our Shakespeare readings.
Lovely.
So,
This is great.
let me know what play you want. I'll send you a free sample PDF. So
Sounds good. Thank you.
And they're wonderful to read on screen, by the way, Paul.
Yeah.
yeah.
I have to say, Luddite that I am, I tend to agree with Asher. I mean, I found with Henry V the other day, just having a book in my hand made it feel so much better.
I mean,
trying to do this, I think, it's a question of eyesight.
Tell me about it. I'm starting to get a migraine from this, but that's life sometimes. Got to deal with the blue light, especially.
Are we back? Because we still have more than half the play to go. Are we all back?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. I just want to say for one thing that Bill gets the award for scenic, for the scenic backgrounds. Well done. All right, here we go. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Act 3, scene, the morning room in Oak Hall. French windows open to the lawn. Max and Sir Harcourt seated on one side, Dazzle on the other. Grace and young Courtly playing chess at the back. And they're all dressed for dinner.
What can I do?
Get rid of them civilly.
What? Turn them out after I particularly invited them to stay a month or two?
Why? They are disreputable characters. As for that young fellow in whom my Lady Courtly appears so particularly absorbed, I am bewildered. I have written to town for my Charles, my boy. It certainly is the most extraordinary likeness.
Sir Harcourt, I have an idea.
Sir, I am delighted to hear it. That fellow is a swindler.
I met him at your house.
Never saw him before in my life.
I will bet you 5-1 that I can beat you 3 out of 4 games of billiards with one hand.
No, sir.
I don't mind giving you 10 points and 50.
Sir, I never gamble.
You don't? Well, I'll teach you. Easiest thing in life. You have every requisite good temper.
I have not, sir.
Long-headed, knowing old buck.
Sir.
Grace?
You're muted.
Am I?
Now you know.
No. I'm sorry.
Top of page 35.
Yeah.
Third line.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, something was askew in my printout. Okay. I'm sorry. Really, Mr. Hamilton, you improve. A young man pays us a visit, as you half intimate, to escape inconvenient friends, which is complimentary to us, his hosts.
Nay, that is too severe.
After an acquaintanceship of 2 days, you sit down to teach me chess and domestic economy in the same time. Might I ask, where you graduated in that science? Where you learned all that store of matrimonial advice which you have obliged me with?
I imbibed it, madam, from the moment I beheld you, and having studied my subject con amore, took my degree from your eyes.
I see you have a Master of Arts already.
Unfortunately, no. I shall remain a bachelor till you can assist me to that honor.
How do you get on?
Splendidly! Keep the old boy away.
Is this the conversation going to... Where the hell are we? Is the conversation strictly confidential, or might I join you?
No, not in the least, my dear sir. We were remarking that rifle shooting was an excellent diversion during the summer months.
Sir, I was addressing...
And I was saying what a pity it was that I couldn't find anyone reasonable enough to back his opinion with long odds. Come out on the lawn, pitch up your hat, and I will hold you 10 to 1. I will put a bullet into it every time at 40 paces.
No, sir, I consider you that I...
Here, all of you, look. Here is Lady Gay Spanker coming across the lawn at a hand gallop.
Bless me, the horse is running away.
Look how she takes that fence. There's a seat.
Lady Gay Spanker, who may she be?
Gay Spanker, Sir Harcourt. Oh, my cousin and dearest friend. You must like her.
It will be my devoir, since it is your wish, though it will be a hard task in your presence.
I am sure you will like her.
I flatter myself.
Who and what is she?
Glee. Glee made a living thing. Nature, in some frolic mood, shut up a merry devil in her eye, and, spiting art, stole joy's brightest harmony to thrill her laugh, which peals out sorrow's knell. Her cry rings loudest in the field, the very echo loves it best, and as each hill attempts to ape her voice, earth seems to laugh that it made a thing so glad.
Aye, the merriest minx I ever kissed. Come in, you mischievous puss.
Mr. Adolphus and Lady Gay Spanker.
Ah, well, Governor, how are you? I've been down 5 times climbing up your stairs in my long clothes. How are you, Grace, dear? Mwah! There, don't fidget, Max. And there, mwah! There's one for you. Ah, gracious. I didn't see you had visitors.
Permit me to introduce Sir Harcourt Courtly, Lady Gay Spanker. Mr. Dazzle, Mr. Hamilton, Lady Gay Spanker.
A devilish fine woman.
She's a devilish fine woman.
You mustn't think anything of the liberties I take with my old papa here. Bless him.
Oh, no. I only thought I should like to be in his place.
I am so glad you have come, Sir Harcourt. Now we shall be able to make a decent figure at the heels of a hunt.
Does your ladyship hunt?
I say, Governor, does my ladyship hunt? I rather flatter myself that I do hunt. Why, Sir Harcourt, one might as well live without laughing as without hunting. It's indigenous to humanity. Man was formed expressly to fit a horse. Are not hedges and ditches created for leaps? Of course. And I look upon foxes to be one of the most blessed dispensations of a benign providence.
Yes, it's all very well in the abstract. I tried it once.
Once? Only once?
Once. Only once. And then the animal ran away with me.
Why, you would not have him walk?
Finding my society disagreeable, he instituted a series of kicks with a view to removing the annoyance, but aided by the united stays of mane and tail, I frustrated his intentions. His next resource, however, was more effectual, for he succeeded in rubbing me off against a tree.
How absurd you must have looked with your legs and arms in the air like a shipwrecked tea table.
I never looked absurd in my life. It may be very amusing in relation, I dare say, but very unpleasant in effect.
I pity you, Sir Harcourt. It was criminal in your parents to neglect your education so shamefully.
Possibly. But be assured, I shall never break my neck awkwardly from a horse, when it might be accomplished with less trouble from a bedroom window.
That will be caught by the she-bucephalus tamer.
Sir Harcourt, had you been here a month ago, you would have witnessed the most glorious run that ever swept over Merry England's green cheek. A steeplechase, sir, which I intended to win, but my horse broke down the day before. I had a chance notwithstanding, and but for Gay here, I should have won. How I regretted my absence from it. How did my filly behave herself, Gay?
Well, very well.
Gloriously.
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 We're near the top of 39 now.
Are we? Oh, good to know. Oh, gloriously, Max, gloriously. There were 16 horses in the field, all metal to the bone. The start was a picture. Away we went in a cloud, pell-mell, helter-skelter. The fools first, as usual, using themselves up. We soon passed them. First your Kitty, then my Blueskin, and Craven's colt last. Then came the tug. Kitty skimmed the walls. Blueskin flew over the fences. The colt neck and neck, and a half a mile to run. At last the colt balked a leap and went wild. Kitty and I had it all to ourselves. She was 3 lengths ahead as we breasted the last wall, 6 feet if an inch, and a ditch on the other side. Now, for the first time, I gave Blueskin his head. Ha ha! Away he flew like a thunderbolt. Over went the filly, I over the same spot, leaving Kitty in the ditch, walked the steeple 8 miles and 30 minutes, and scarcely turned a hair.
Bravo, bravo.
Do you hunt?
Hunt? I belong to a hunting family. I was born on horseback and cradled in a kennel. And I hope I may die with a...
You must leave your town habits in the smoke of London. Here we rise with the lock.
I don't know where you are.
Sir Harcourt.
Where are we?
Where are we?
What?
It might be the
Top of page 38. Okay. The scenes are in different order.
Oh,
Yeah.
back there.
Okay. Asher, can you give me the cue again, please?
Sure. You must leave your town habits in the smoke of London. Here we rise with the lock.
Haven't the remotest conception when that period is.
Man that misses sunrise loses the sweetest part of his existence.
Oh, pardon me, I have seen sunrise frequently after a ball or from the windows of my travelling carriage, and I always considered it excessively disagreeable.
I love to watch the first tear that glistens in the opening eye of morning, the silent song the flowers breathe, the thrilling choir of the woodland minstrels to which the modest brook trickles applause. These, swelling out the sweetest chord of sweet creation's martins, seem to pour some soft and merry tale into the daylight's ear, as if the wakening world had dreamed a happy thing and now smiled o'er the telling of it.
The effect of a rustic education. Who could ever discover music in a damp, foggy morning except those confounded waits who never play in tune, and a miserable wretch who makes a point of crying coffee under my window just as I am persuading myself to sleep? In fact, I have never heard any music worth listening to, except in Italy.
No? Then you never heard a well-trained English pack in full cry?
Full cry?
Aye, there is harmony, if you will. Give me the trumpet, nay, the spotted pack just catching scent. What a chorus is their yelp! The view, hello, blent with a peal of free and fearless mirth. That's our English music. Match it where you can.
I must see about Lady Gay, Spanker.
Ah, would you?
Time then appears as young as love, and plumes as swift as wing. Away we go. The earth flies back to aid our course. Horse, man, hound, earth, heaven, all one piece of glowing ecstasy. Then I love the world, myself, and every living thing. My jocund soul cries out for very glee, so it could wish that all creation had but one mouth, that I might kiss it.
I wish I were the mouth.
Why, we will regenerate you, Baronet.
Middle of 39.
39.
Bless me, where is my dolly?
You're married, then?
Well, I have a husband somewhere, though I can't find him just now. Dolly, dear! Governor, at home I always whistle when I want him.
Here I am. Did you call me, Gay?
Is that your husband?
Yes, bless his stupid face. That's my Dolly.
Permit me to introduce you to Sir Harcourt Courtly.
How do you do?
Delighted to have the honour.
Delighted to have the honour.
Of making the acquaintance.
Of making the acquaintance.
Of a gentleman so highly celebrated.
Of a gentleman so highly celebrated.
In the world of fashion.
In the world of fashion.
That'll do, stupid.
That'll do, stupid.
Where have you been, Dolly?
Oh, I was just outside.
Why did you not come in?
I'm sure I didn't. I don't exactly know, but I thought as perhaps I can't remember.
Can we have the pleasure of your company to dinner?
Well, I always dine. Usually, that is, unless Gay remains.
Stay to dinner, of course. We came on purpose to stop 3 or 4 days with you.
Excuse my absence, Gay.
What? Where are you going? What takes you away?
We must postpone the dinner till Gay is dressed.
Oh, never mind. Stay where you are.
No, I must go.
Well, I say you shan't. I will be king in my own house.
Do, my dear uncle. You shall be king, and I'll be your prime minister. That is, I'll rule, and you shall have the honor of taking the consequences.
Well said, Grace. Have your own way. It's the only thing we women ought to be allowed.
Come, Gay. Dress for dinner.
Permit me, Lady Gay, Spanker.
With pleasure. What do you want?
To escort you.
Oh, never mind. I can escort myself, thank you, and Dolly too. Come here.
Thank you. Au revoir. Sorry, I blew it.
What an ill-assorted pair.
Thank you. I never do before dinner.
What an ill-assorted pair.
I have no idea where.
Sorry, that got mixed. Sorry.
What was that last line?
What an ill-assorted pair.
Oh.
How he ever summoned the courage to propose to her, I can't guess.
Max, you there?
I'm trying to find it.
It's in the middle in 39, I think, on your page.
41. Oh, sorry.
Well, Asher, I think in the one you're on, it's on 39. What an ill-assorted pair.
No, it's past. No, I'm past 39 already.
Okay.
Let's just go on to Cool and Charles.
Mr. Charles, I have been watching to find you alone. Sir Harcourt has written to town for you.
The devil he has.
He expects you down tomorrow evening.
I don't know where everybody is.
Bottom of 41.
We're at the bottom of 41 right now.
He expects you down tomorrow evening.
Oh. He'll be punctual. A thought strikes me, if not a line.
Confound your thoughts. I can think of nothing but the idea of leaving Grace at the very moment when I had established the most.
What if I can prevent her marriage with your governor?
Impossible.
He's proving himself for the conquest of Lady Gay Spanker. It will not be difficult to make him believe she accedes to his suit. And if she would but join in the plan...
And do you think she would?
I mistake my game if she would not.
Here comes Sir Harcourt.
And I'll begin with him. Retire. Now watch how I open the campaign for you.
Oh, here's that cussed fellow again.
My dear old friend.
Mr. Dazzle.
I have a secret of importance to disclose to you. Are you a man of honor? Hush, hush. Don't speak. You are. It is with the greatest pain that I am compelled to request you, as a gentleman, that you will shun studiously the society of Lady Gay Spanker.
Great. Wherefore, and by what right do you make such a demand?
Well, I am distantly related to the Spankers.
Why, hang it, sir, if you don't appear to be related to every family in Great Britain.
A good many of the nobility claim me as a connection, but to return, she is much struck with your address. Evidently, she laid herself out for display.
You surprise me.
To entangle you.
Why, it did appear like it.
You will spare her, for my sake. Give her no encouragement. If disgrace come upon my relatives, the Spankers, I should never hold up my head again.
I shall achieve an easy conquest and glorious. I never remarked it before, but this is a gentleman.
May I rely upon your generosity?
Faithfully. Sir, I honour and esteem you, but might I ask, how came you to meet our friend, Max Harkaway, in my house in Belgrave Square?
Certainly, I had an acceptance of your sons for £100.
Of my sons? Impossible.
Ah, sir, fact. He paid a debt for poor unfortunate man, 15 children, half a dozen wives, devil knows what all.
Oh, simple boy.
Innocent youth, I have no doubt. When you have the 100 convenient, I shall feel delighted.
No, follow me to my room, and if you have the document, it will be happiness for me to pay it. Poor Charles, good heart.
Oh, a splendid heart, I dare say. Come here, bring your splendid heart here to write me the bill.
What for?
What for? Why, to release the unfortunate man and his family, to be sure, from jail.
Who is he?
Yourself.
But I haven't 15 children.
Will you take your oath of that?
Nor 4 wives.
More shame for you with all that family. Come, don't be obstinate, write and date it back.
Aye, but where's the stamp?
Here, they're all patterns. I keep them ready drawn in case of necessity, all but the date of acceptance. Now, if you are in an autographic humor, you can try how your signature will look across half a dozen of them. Now there, right? Exactly. You know the place. Across. Good. Now, thank your lucky stars that you found a friend at last that gives you money and advice. I'll give the old gentleman this, and then you can retrieve the necessities of 15 little unfortunates.
Things are approaching to a climax. I must appear in propria persona, and immediately, but I must first ascertain what are the real sentiments of this riddle of a woman. Does she love me? I flatter myself. By Jove, here she comes. I shall never have such an opportunity again.
I wish I had never seen Mr. Hamilton. Why does every object appear robbed of its charm it once presented to me? Why do I shudder at the contemplation of this marriage, which till now was to me a subject of indifference? Am I in love? In love? Oh, if I am, my past life has been the work of raising up a pedestal to place my own folly on. I, the infidel, the railer.
Meditating on matrimony, perhaps, madam?
He little thinks he was the subject of my meditations. No, Mr. Hamilton, I
Must unmask my battery now.
foolish I am. He will perceive that I tremble. I must appear at ease. Very awkward.
It is a very difficult subject to begin. Madam, I was about to remark that I was about to observe, hang me if it is not a very slippery subject. I must brush up my faculties, attack her in her own way. Sing, O Muse! Why, I have made love before to 100 women.
Oh, I wish I had something to do, for I have nothing to say.
Madam, there is a subject so fraught with fraught with fate as to my future life, that you must pardon my lack of delicacy should a too hasty expression mar the fervent courtesy of its intent. To you, I feel aware, I must appear in the light of a comparative stranger.
I know what's coming.
Of you, I know perhaps too much.
Huh?
For my own peace.
He is in love.
I forget all that befell before I saw your beauteous self. I seem born into another world. My nature changed. The beams of that bright face falling on my soul have, from its chaos, warmed into life the flowerets of affection, whose maiden odors now float towards the clouds. The clouds. Clouds. Damn me, I'm in the clouds now. I should say the sun, pouring forth on the pure tongue a might of adoration, midst the voices of a universe. That's something in her own style.
Mr. Hamilton!
You cannot feel surprised.
I am more than surprised. I am delighted.
Do not speak so coldly.
You have offended me.
Oh, madam, no woman, whatever her state, can be offended by the adoration even of the meanest. It is myself whom I have offended and deceived. But still, I ask your pardon.
He thinks I am refusing him. I am not exactly offended, but...
My position. A few days, and an unsurmountable barrier would have placed you beyond my wildest hopes. I would have been your mother. No. I would have been your father. No. You would have been my mother.
I should have been your mother. I thought so.
No, that is, I meant Sir Harcourt Courtly's bride.
Never.
Down, never. May I then hope? You turn away. You would not lacerate me by refusal.
How stupid he is.
Still, I thank you, Miss Grace. I ought to have expected this. Fool that I have been. One course alone remains. Farewell.
Oh, now he was going.
Farewell forever. Will you not speak one word? I shall leave this house immediately if I shall not see you again.
Unhand me, sir. I insist.
Ah, what an ass I've been. Release this hand. Never, never will I quit this hand. It shall be my companion in misery, in solitude when you are away.
Oh, should anyone come? Oh, for heaven's sake, do not kneel.
Forever thus prostrate before my soul's saint, I will lead a pious life of eternal adoration.
Should we be discovered thus? Pray, Mr. Hamilton, pray, pray.
Pray, I am praying. What more can I do?
Oh, your conduct is shameful. And if I do not scream, it is not for your sake, but it might alarm the family.
It might, it would. Say, am I wholly indifferent to you? I entreat one word. I implore you, do not withdraw your hand. Smile.
Leave me, dear Mr. Hamilton.
Dear! Then I am dear to you. That word once more. Say you love me.
Was this fair?
Huh? Oh.
Is the devil.
Don't mind me. Pray, don't let me be any interruption.
I was just...
Yes, I see you were.
Madam, how could you mar my bliss in the very ecstasy of its fulfillment?
Oh, I always like to be in at the death. Never drop your ears. Bless you, she's only a little fresh. Give her her head and she'll outrun herself.
Possibly, but what am I to do?
Keep your seat.
But in a few days she will take a leap that must throw me. She marries Sir Harcourt Courtly.
Oh, that is awkward, certainly. But you can challenge him and shoot him.
Unfortunately, that is out of the question.
How so?
You will not betray a secret if I inform you?
All right, what is it?
I am his son.
What? His son? Oh, but he does not know you.
No, I met him here by chance and faced it out. I never saw him before in my life.
Beautiful. Oh, I see it all. You're in love with your mother that should be, your wife that will be.
Now I think I could distance the old gentleman if you will but lend us your assistance.
I will, in anything.
You must know then that my father, Sir Harcourt, has fallen desperately in love with you.
With me? Oh, that is delicious.
Now, if you only could...
I could. I will. I see my cue. I'll cross his scent. I'll draw him after me. Ho, ho! Won't I make love to him?
The only objection might be Mr. Spanker, who might...
No, he mightn't. He has no objection. Bless him. He's an inestimable little character. You don't know him as well as I do, I dare say. Oh, here they come to dinner. I'll commence my operations on your governor immediately. How I shall enjoy it.
Be guarded.
Max? Max? Oh dear.
Now, yes. Lost my place.
End of Act.
I know. I'm trying to find it. The hell did it go? Now, gentlemen, Sir Harcourt, do you lead Grace?
I believe Sir Harcourt is engaged to me.
Well, please yourselves.
Act 4, same as Act 3. Grace and Lady Gay discovered drinking coffee.
If there to be one habit more abominable than any other, it is that of the gentlemen sitting over their wine. It is a selfish, unfeeling fashion and a gross insult to our sex.
We are turned out just when the fun begins. How happy the poor wretches look at the contemplation of being rid of us.
The conventional signal for the ladies to withdrawal is anxiously and deliberately waited for.
Then I begin to wish I were a man.
The instant the door is closed upon us, there rises a roar.
In celebration of their short-lived liberty, my love, rejoicing over their emancipation.
I think it very insulting, whatever it may be.
Ah, my dear, philosophies say that man is the creature of an hour. 'Tis the dinner hour, I suppose.
A song! A song!
I'm afraid they are getting too pleasant to be agreeable.
Oh, I hope the squire will restrict himself. After his third bottle, he becomes rather voluminous.
Silence!
Silence! Silence!
Oh, someone is going to sing. Oh, let us hear.
Oh, no, Gay, for heaven's sake.
Oh!
Blow the wind southerly, southerly, southerly.
Not unmute. A southerly wind in the stars. Never mind.
Well,
Southerly wind in the clouded sky.
well, I never heard my Dolly sing before. Happy wretches. How I envy them.
Mr. Hamilton has just left the house for London.
Impossible. That is, without seeing, that is, he never... Speak, sir.
He left, Miss Grace, in a desperate hurry, and this note, I believe, is for you.
For me? Excuse me, Gay. Your manner during dining has left me no alternative but instant departure. My absence will release you from the oppression which my society must necessarily inflict on your sensitive mind. It may tend also to smother, though it can never extinguish that indomitable passion of which I am the passive victim. Dare I supplicate pardon and oblivion for the past? It is the last request of the self-deceived but still loving Augustus Hamilton.
Hello, Grace. Pull up. What's the matter?
Nothing. Just the heat of the room.
Oh. What excuse does he make? Particular unforeseen business, I suppose?
Why, yes. A mere formula. You may put it in the fire.
It is near enough in the fire where it is.
I'm glad he's gone.
So am I.
He was disagreeable, ignorant person.
Yes, and so vulgar.
No, he was not vulgar.
I mean in appearance.
How can you say so? He was very distingué.
Well, I might have been mistaken, but I took him for a forward, intrusive...
Oh, gracious, Gay. He was very retiring, even shy.
All right, she is in love. Blows hot and cold in the same breath.
How can you be a competent judge? Why, you have not known him more than a few hours, while I
have known him 2 days and a quarter. I yield, I confess, I never was or will be so intimate with him as you appeared to be.
But my dear sir, consider the state of the two countries under such a constitution.
The two countries? What have they to do with the subject?
Everything. Look at their two legislative bodies.
Hey, look at their two legislative bodies.
Why, it would inevitably establish universal anarchy and confusion.
I think they are pretty well established already.
Well, suppose it did. What has anarchy and confusion to do with the subject?
Do look at my Dolly. He is arguing, talking politics, pon my life he is. Mr. Spanker, my dear.
Excuse me, love. I am discussing a point of importance.
Oh, that is delicious. He must discuss that to me. Dolly, Dolly.
Pardon me, Lady Gay Spanker. I conceive your mutilation of my sponsorial appellation highly derogatory to my amour propre.
Oh,
And I particularly request that for the future I may not be treated with that cavalier spirit which does not become your sex nor your station, your ladyship.
you have been indulging till you have lost what little wit nature dribbled into your unfortunate little head. Your brains want the whipper in. You are not yourself.
Madam, I am doubly myself, and permit me to inform you that unless you voluntarily pay obedience to my commands, I shall enforce them.
Your commands?
Yes, madam. I mean to put a full stop to your hunting.
You do? Ah, I can scarcely speak from delight. Who put such an idea into your head? For I am sure it is not an original emanation of your genius.
Sir Harcourt Courtly, my friend, and now mark me. I request, for your own sake, that I may not be compelled to assert my authority as your husband. I shall say no more than this. If you persist in your absurd rebellion,
Well?
contemplate a separation.
Oh, now I'm happy. My own little darling, inestimable Dolly has tumbled into a spirit. Somehow. Sir Harcourt, too. Ha ha. He's trying to make him ill-treat me so that his own suit may thrive.
Lady Gay,
Now for it.
what hours of misery were those I passed when, by your secession, the room suffered a total eclipse.
Ah, you flatter.
No, pardon me, that were impossible. No, believe me, I tried to join in the boisterous mirth, but my thoughts would desert to the drawing room. Ah, how I envied the careless levity and cool indifference with which Mr. Spanker enjoyed your absence.
Max, that Madeira is worth its weight in gold. I hope you have more of it.
A pipe, I think.
I consider a magnum of this nectar and a meerschaum of canaster to consummate the ultimatum of all mundane bliss. To drown myself in liquid ecstasy and then blow a cloud on which the enfranchised soul could soar above Olympus. Oh.
Mr. Charles Courtly.
Ah, now, Max, you must see the living apology for my conduct. Well, Charles, how are you? Don't be afraid. There, Max, what do you say now?
Well, this is the most extraordinary likeness.
Yes, considering it is the original, I am not so easily deceived.
Sir, I am delighted to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Would you be kind enough to introduce me, Sir Harcourt?
This is Mr. Dazzle, Charles.
Which?
Is not that refreshing, Miss Harkaway? Charles, this is your mother, or rather will be.
Madam, I shall love... Madam, I shall love, honour, and obey you punctually.
You perceive, quite unused to society, perfectly ignorant of every conventional rule of life.
Yeah, the doctor and the young ladies have arrived.
The young ladies, now we must go to the hall. I make it a rule always to commence the festivities with a good old country dance. A rattling Sir Roger de Coverley. Come, Sir Harcourt.
Does this antiquity require a war whoop in it?
Nothing but a nimble foot and a light heart.
The very antediluvian indispensables. Lady Gay Spanker, will you honour me by becoming my preceptor?
Well, I am engaged, but on such a plea as Sir Harcourt's, I must waive all obstacles.
Now, Grace girl, Give your hand to Mr. Courtly.
Pray, excuse me, uncle. I have a headache.
See, by the gods, jealous of my devotions at another's fame. Charles, my boy, amuse Miss Grace during our absence.
But don't you dance, Mr. Courtly?
Dance, sir? I never dance. I can procure exercise in a much more rational manner, and music disturbs my meditations.
Well, do the gallant.
I never studied that art, but I have a prize essay on a hydrostatic subject, which would delight her, for it enchanted the Reverend Dr. Pump of Corpus Christi.
What on earth could have induced him to disfigure himself in that frightful way? I rather suspect some plot to entrap me into a confession.
Dare I confess this trick to her? No. Not until I have proved her affection indisputably. Let me see, I must concoct. Madam, I have been desired to amuse you.
Thank you.
The labor we delight in physics pain. I will draw you a moral. Subject, the effects of inebriety, which, according to Ben Jonson, means perplexion of the intellect caused by imbibing spirituous liquors. About an hour before my arrival, I passed an appalling evidence of the effects of this state. A carriage was overthrown, horses killed, gentleman in a hopeless state with his neck broken, all occasioned by the intoxication of the postboy.
That is very amusing.
I found it edifying. Nutritious food for reflection. The expiring man desired his best compliments to you.
To me.
Yes.
His name was...
Augustus Hamilton.
Augustus. Oh.
She loves me.
But where, sir, did this happen?
About 4 miles down the road.
He must be conveyed here.
Mr. Medal, madam.
On very particular business.
Oh, the very person, my dear sir.
My dear madam.
You must execute a very particular commission for me immediately. Mr. Hamilton has met with a frightful accident on the London road and is in a dying state.
Well, I have no hesitation in saying he takes it uncommonly easy. He looks as if he was used to it.
You mistake. This is not Mr. Hamilton, but Mr. Courtly, who will explain everything and conduct you to the spot.
Oh, I must put a stop to all this, or I shall be found out. Madam, that were useless, for I had omitted to mention a small fact which occurred before I left Mr. Hamilton. He died.
He died?
He did.
He did?
Dead!
Dear me. Oh, well, then we needn't trouble you, Mr. Medal. Hark. I hear they are commencing a waltz. If you will ask me, perhaps a turn or two in the dance may tend to dispel the dreadful sensations you have aroused.
Hears of my death, screams out, and then asks me to waltz? I am bewildered. Can she suspect me? I wonder what she likes best, me or my double. Confound this disguise. I must retain it. I have gone too far with my dad to pull up now. At your service, madam.
I will pay him well for this trick. Oh, poor Augustus Hamilton.
Well, if that is not Mr. Hamilton, scratch me out with a big blade, for I am a blot, a mistake upon the rolls. There is an error in the pleading somewhere, and I will discover it. I would swear to his identity before the most discriminating jury. By the by, this accident will fall a capital excuse for my presence here. I just stepped in to see how matters worked, and stay, here comes the bridegroom-elect, and oh, in his very arms, Lady Gay Spanker. Where are my witnesses? Oh, that someone else were here. However, I can retire and get some information. Spanker versus Courtly. Damages, witness.
This cool room will recover you.
Excuse my trusting to you for support.
I am transported. Allow me thus ever to support this lovely burden, and I shall conceive that paradise is regained.
Oh, Sir Harcourt, I feel very faint.
The waltz made you giddy.
And I have left my salts in the other room.
I always carry a flasson for the express accommodation of the fair sex.
Thank you. Oh.
What a sigh was there.
The vapor of consuming grief.
Is it possible? Have you a grief? Are you unhappy, dear me?
Am I not married?
What a horrible state of existence.
I am never contradicted, so there are none of those enlivening, interesting little differences which so pleasingly diversify the monotony of conjugal life, like spots of verdure. No quarrels, like oases in the desert of matrimony. No rows.
Vulgar, what a brute.
I never have anything but my own way, and he won't permit me to spend more than I like.
Mean-spirited wretch.
How can I help being miserable?
Miserable? I wonder you are not in a lunatic asylum with such unheard of barbarity.
But worse than all that.
Can it be out-Heroded?
Yes, I could forgive that. I do. It is my duty. But only imagine. Picture to yourself, my dear Sir Harcourt, though I, the third daughter of an earl, married him out of pity for his destitute and helpless situation as a bachelor with 10,000 a year. Conceive, if you can, he actually permits me, with the most placid indifference, to flirt with any old fool I may meet.
Gracious, miserable idiot.
I fear there is an incompatibility of temper which renders a separation inevitable.
Indispensable, my dear madam. Ah, had I been the happy possessor of such a realm of bliss, what a beatific eternity unfolds itself to my extending imagination. Had another man but looked at you, I should have annihilated him at once. And if he had the temerity to speak, his life alone could have expiated his crime.
Oh, an existence of such a nature is too bright for the eye of thought, too sweet to bear reflection.
My devotion, eternal, deep.
Oh, Sir Harcourt.
Your every thought should be a separate study, each wish forestalled by the quick apprehension of a kindred soul.
Alas, how can I avoid my fate?
If a life, a heart, were offered to your astonished view by one who is considered the index of fashion, the vein of the beau monde, if you saw him at your feet, begging, beseeching your acceptance of all, and more than this, what would you answer?
I know of none so devoted.
You do! Behold, Sir Harcourt Courtly.
Oh, yikes! Puss has broken cover.
Speak, adored, dearest Lady Gay, speak. Will you fly from this tyranny, the wretched misery of such a monstrous roof, and accept the soul which lives but in your presence?
Do not press me, oh spare a weak, yielding woman. Be contented to know that you are, alas, too dear to me. But the world would say...
Let us be a precedent to open a more extended and liberal view of matrimonial advantages to society.
Oh, how irresistible is your argument. Oh, pause.
I have ascertained for a fact that every tradesman of mine lives with his wife. And thus, you see, it has become a vulgar and plebeian custom.
Oh, leave me. I feel I cannot withstand your powers of persuasion. Swear that you will never forsake me.
Dictate the oath. May I grow wrinkled May 2 inches be added to the circumference of my waist. May I lose the fall in my back. May I be old and ugly the instant I forego 1 tithe of adoration.
I must believe you.
Shall we leave this detestable spot, this horrible vicinity?
The sooner the better. Tomorrow evening let it be. Now, let me return. My absence will be remarked. Do I appear confused? Has my agitation rendered me unfit to enter the room?
More angelic by a lovely tinge of heightened colour.
Tomorrow, in this room, which opens on the lawn.
At 11 o'clock.
Have your carriage in waiting and 4 horses. Remember, please be particular to have 4. Don't let the affair come off shabbily. Adieu, dear Sir Harcourt.
Veni, vidi, vici. Hannibal, Caesar, Napoleon, Alexander never completed so fair a conquest in so short a time. She dropped, fascinated. This is an unprecedented example of the irresistible force of personal appearance combined with polished address. Poor creature, how she loves me. I pity so prostrating a passion and ought to return it. I will. It is a duty I owe to society and fashion.
There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. This is my tide. I am the only witness. Virtue is sure to find its own reward, but I've no time to contemplate what it shall be. Something huge. Let me see. Spanker versus Courtly, crim, con, damages placed at £150,000 at least, for juries always decimate your hopes.
I cannot find Gay anywhere.
Ah, the plaintiff himself. I must commence the action. Mr. Spanker, as I have information of deep and vital importance to impart, will you take a seat? You have a wife?
Oh, yes, I believe.
Will you be kind enough, without any prevarication, to answer my questions?
You alarm.
Compose yourself and reserve your feelings. Take time to consider. Have you a wife?
Yes.
He has a wife. Good. A bona fide wife, bound morally and legally to be your wife and nobody else's in effect, except on your written permission.
But what is this?
Hush! Allow me, dear sir, to congratulate you.
What for?
Well, Lady Gay Spanker is about to dishonour the bond of wedlock by eloping from you.
What?
I thought you would be overjoyed. Place the affair in my hands, and I will venture to promise the largest damages on record.
Damn the damages! I want my wife. Oh, I'll go and ask her not to run away. She may run away with me. She may hunt, she may ride, anything she likes. Oh, sir, let us put a stop to this affair.
Put a stop to it? Do not alarm me, sir. Sir, you will spoil the most exquisite brief that was ever penned. It must proceed. It shall proceed. It is illegal to prevent it, and I will bring an action against you for willful intent to injure the profession.
Oh, what an ass I am. Oh, I have driven her to this. It was all that cursed brandy punch on the top of Burgundy. Oh, what a fool I was.
It was the happiest moment of your life.
So I thought at the time, but we lived to grow wiser. Tell me, who is the vile seducer?
Sir Harcourt Courtly.
Oh, he is my best friend.
I should think he is. Them's the fellows. If you will accompany me, here is a verbatim copy of the whole transaction in shorthand, sworn to by me.
Only let me have Gay back again.
Even that may be arranged. This way.
Oh, that ever I should live to see my wife run away. Oh, I will do anything. Keep 2 packs of hounds. Buy up every horse and ass in England, myself included. Oh!
Oh, poor Dolly. I'm sorry I must continue to deceive him. If he would but kindle up a little. So, that fellow overheard all. Well, so much the better.
My dear madam, how fares the plot? Does my governor nibble?
Nibble? He is caught and in the basket. I have just left him with a hook in his gills, panting for very lack of element. But how goes on your encounter?
Bravely. By a simple ruse, I have discovered that she loves me. I see but one chance against the best termination I could hope.
What is it?
My father has told me that I return to town again tomorrow afternoon.
Well, I insist you stop and dine. Keep out of the way.
But what excuse shall I offer for disobedience? What can I say when he sees me before dinner?
Say grace. I have arranged to elope with Sir Harcourt myself tomorrow night.
The deuce you have!
Now, if you could persuade Grace to follow that example, his carriage will be in waiting at the park. Be there a little before 11, and it will just prevent our escape. Can you make her agree to that?
Oh, without the slightest difficulty if Mr. Augustus Hamilton supplicates.
Success attend you.
I will bend the haughty Grace.
Do.
Will you?
Act the fifth, same scene.
This is the most serious affair Sir Harcourt has ever been engaged in. I took the liberty of considering him a fool when he told me he was going to marry. Voluntarily to incur another man's encumbrance is very little short of madness. If he continues to conduct himself in this absurd manner, I shall be compelled to dismiss him.
Cool.
Sir Harcourt.
Is my chariot in waiting?
For the last half hour at the park wicket. But pardon the insinuation, sir, would it not be more advisable to hesitate a little for a short reflection before you undertake the heavy responsibility?
No, hesitation destroys the romance of a faux pas and reduces it to the level of a mere mercantile calculation.
What is to be done with Mr. Charles?
Aye, much against my will, Lady Gay prevailed upon me to permit him to remain. You, Cole, must return him to the college, pass through London, and deliver these papers here to a small notice of a coming... Deliver these papers. Here is a small notice of a coming of the... Here is the small notice of the coming elopement for the Morning Post. This by an eyewitness for the Herald, this with all the particulars for the Chronicle, and the full and circumstantial account for the evening journals. After which, meet us in Boulogne.
Very good, Sir Harcourt.
Lose no time. Remember, Hotel Anglais, Boulogne-sur-Mer. And cool, bring a few copies with you, and don't forget to distribute some amongst my very particular friends.
It shall be done.
Sir Harcourt.
At your feet.
Oh, I had hoped you would have repented.
Repented?
Have you not come to say it was a jest? Say you have.
Love is too sacred a subject to be trifled with. Come, let us fly. See, I have procured disguises.
My courage begins to fail me. Let me return.
Impossible.
Where do you intend to take me?
You shall be my guide. The carriage waits.
You will never desert me?
Desert? Oh, heavens, nay, do not hesitate. Flight now alone is left to your desperate situation. Come, every moment is laden with danger.
Oh, gracious.
Hush, what is it?
Oh, I have forgotten I must return.
Impossible.
I must. I must. I have left Max, a pet staghound, in his basket, without whom life would be unendurable. I could not exist.
Oh, no, let him be sent after us in a hamper.
In a hamper? Remorseless man? Go, you love me not. How would you like to be sent after me in a hamper? Let me fetch him. Hark, I hear him squeal. Oh, Max, Max!
Hush! For heaven's sake! Then imagine you're calling the squire. I hear her footsteps. Where can I retire?
Versus Courtly. I subpoena every one of you as witnesses. I have them ready. Here they are. Shilling apiece.
Where is Sir Harcourt?
There. Bear witness. She calls on the vile delinquent for protection.
Oh, his protection?
What?
I swear I overheard the whole elopement planned before any jury. Where's the book?
Do hear, you profligate.
Where is this wretched Lothario?
Aye, where is the defendant?
Where lies the hoary villain?
What villain?
That will not serve you. I will not be blinded that way.
We won't be blinded anyway.
I must see Sir Harcourt and demand an explanation. Such a thing never occurred in Oakhall before. It must be cleared up.
Now, take my advice. Remember your gender. Mind the notes I've given you.
All right, here they are. Now, madam, I have procured the highest legal opinion on this point.
Hear, hear.
And the question resolves itself into what's this?
A nutshell.
Oh, yes, we are in a nutshell. Will you, in every respect, subscribe to my requests, desires, commands, orders, imperative, indicative, injunctive, or otherwise?
On my life, he's actually going to assume the ribbons and take the box seat. I must put a stop to this. I will. It will all end in smoke. I know Sir Harcourt would rather run than fight.
Oh, I smell powder. Command my services. My dear madam, can I be of any use?
Oh, a challenge. I must consult my legal advisor.
No, impossible.
Pooh, easiest thing in life. Leave it to me. What has an attorney to do with the affairs of honor? They are out of his element.
Compromise the question. Pull his nose. We have no objection to that.
Well, we have no objection either, have we?
No, pull his nose. That'll be something.
And moreover, it is not exactly actionable.
Isn't it? Thank you. I'll note that down on that. I'll note down that piece of information. It may be useful.
How? Cheated out of my legal knowledge?
Mr. Spanker, I am determined. I insist upon a challenge being sent to Sir Harcourt Courtly, and mark me, if you refuse to fight him, I will.
Don't. Take my advice. You'll incapacitate.
Look you, Mr. Medal, unless you wish me to horsewhip you, hold your tongue.
I have no hesitation in saying, and I say it boldly, that I want it in the next room.
Mr. Spanker, oblige me by writing as I dictate.
Don't go. Oh, he's gone, and I am defenseless. Is this the fate of husbands? A duel? Is this the result of becoming master in my own family?
Come, Dolly.
Don't dolly me. I won't be dollied.
Sir, the situation in which you were discovered with my wife...
With my wife?
Your wife?
No, your wife.
Admits of neither explanation nor apology.
Oh, yes, but it does. I don't believe that you really intended to run quite away.
You do not, but I know better. I say I did. And if it had not been for your unfortunate interruption, I do not know where I might have been by this time. Go on.
Nor apology.
Apology? Oh, 1p.
I'm writing my own death warrant, committing suicide on compulsion.
The bearer will arrange all preliminary matters for another day must see this sacrilege expiated by your life or that of...
Or that of the bearer.
No, yours very sincerely, Dolly Spanker.
Adolphus Spanker.
Now, Mr. Dazzle.
This document is as sacred as if it were £100 bill.
We trust to your discretion.
Oh, his discretion. Oh, put your head in a tiger's mouth and trust to his discretion.
My dear Lady Gay, matters of this kind are indigenous to my nature, independently of their pervading fascination to all humanity. But this is the more especially delightful, as you may perceive, I shall be the intimate and bosom friend of both parties.
Is it not the only alternative in such a case?
It is a beautiful panacea in every case. By the way, where would you like this party of pleasure to come off? Open-air shooting is pleasant enough, but if I might venture to advise, we could order half a dozen of that Madeira and a box of cigars into the billiard room and make a night of it. Kick up the irons every now and then, string for the first shot, blaze away at one another in an amicable and gentlemanlike way, so conclude the matter before the potency of the liquor could disturb the individuality of the object, or the smoke of the cigars render the outline dubious. Does such an arrangement coincide with your views?
Perfectly.
I trust shortly to be the harbinger of happy tidings.
Lady Gay Spanker, are you ambitious of becoming a widow?
My Dolly, woman is at her best, but weak, and weeds become me.
Female? Am I to be immolated on the altar of your vanity?
If you become pathetic, I shall laugh.
You are laughing. Farewell, base, heartless, unfeeling woman.
Ah! Well, so I am. I am heartless, for he is a dear, good little fellow, and I ought not to play upon his feelings, but upon my life, he sounds so very well up at concert pitch that I feel disinclined to untune him. Poor doll. I didn't think he cared so much about me. I will put him out of pain.
I have been a fool, a dupe to my own vanity. I shall be pointed at as a ridiculous old coxcomb. And so I am. The hour of conviction is arrived. Have I deceived myself? Have I turned all my senses inwards, looking towards self, always self? And has the world been ever laughing at me? Well, if they have, I will revert the joke. They may say I am an old ass, but I will prove that I am neither too old to repent my folly, nor such an ass as to flinch from confessing it. A blow half met is but half felt.
Sir Harcourt, may I be permitted the honour of a few minutes' conversation with you?
With pleasure.
And have the kindness to throw your eyes over that.
The situation, my life, apology, expiate, my life. Why, this is intended for a challenge.
Indeed, I am perfectly aware that it is not quite all regular in the couching, for with that I had nothing to do, but I trust that the irregularity of the composition will be confounded in the beauty of the subject.
Mr. Dazzle, are you in earnest?
Sir Harcourt Courtly, upon my honour I am, and I hope that no previous engagement will interfere with an immediate reply in propria persona. We have fixed upon the billiard room as the scene of action, where I have just seen properly illuminated for the occasion. And by the by, if your implements are not handy, I can oblige you with a pair of the sweetest things you ever handled. Hair-triggered, saw grip, heirlooms of my family. I regard them almost in the light of relations.
I shall avail myself of one of your relatives. Oh, one of the hereditaments of my folly. I must accept it. Sir, I shall be happy to meet Mr. Spanker at any time or place he may appoint.
The sooner the better, sir. Allow me to offer you my arm. I see you understand these matters. My friend Spanker is woefully ignorant, miserably uneducated.
Give ye joy, girl, give ye joy. Sir Harcourt Courtly must consent to waive all title to your hand in favour of his son Charles.
Oh, indeed. Is that the pitch of your congratulation? The exchange of an old fool for a young one? Pardon me if I'm not able to distinguish the advantage.
Advantage?
Moreover, by what right am I so transferable a cipher in the family of Courtly? So then my fate is reduced to this, to sacrifice my fortune or unite myself with a worm-eaten edition of the classics.
Why, he certainly is not such a fellow as I could have chosen for my little Grace. But consider, to retain 15,000 a year. Now tell me honestly, but why should I say honestly? Speak, girl, would you rather not have the lad?
Why do you ask me?
Why, look-ye, I'm an old fellow. Another hunting season or two, and I shall be in at my own death. I can't leave you this house and land because they are entailed, nor can I say I am sorry for it is a good law. But I have a little box with my Grace's name upon it, where, since your father's death and miserly will, I have yearly placed a certain sum to be yours, should you refuse to fulfill the conditions prescribed.
My dear own uncle.
What's to do now? Why, it was only a trifle. Why, you little rogue, what are you crying about?
Nothing, but...
But what? Come, out with it. Will you have young Courtly?
Oh, Max! Max!
What's amiss with you?
Oh, I'm a wicked woman.
What have you done?
Everything. Oh, I thought Sir Harcourt was a coward, but now I find that a man may be a coxcomb without being a poltroon. Just to show my husband how inconvenient it is to hold the ribbon sometimes, I made him send a challenge to the old fellow, and he, to my surprise, accepted it, and is going to blow my dolly's brains out in the billiard room.
The devil!
Just when I imagined I'd got my whip hand of him again, out comes my linchpin, and over I go. Oh!
I will soon put a stop to that. A duel under my roof? Murder in Oak Hall? I'll shoot them both.
Are you really in earnest?
Do you think it looks like a joke? Oh, Dolly, if you allow yourself to be shot, I will never forgive you. Never. Oh, he's a great fool, Grace, but I can't tell why. I would sooner lose my bridle hand than he should be hurt on my account. Oh. Tell me, have you shot him? Is he dead? My dear Sir Harcourt, you horrid old brute, have you killed him? I shall never forgive myself.
Sir Harcourt, what has happened?
Don't be alarmed, I beg. Your uncle interrupted us, discharged the weapons, locked the challenger up in the billiard room to cool his rage.
Thank heaven.
Miss Grace, to apologize for my conduct were useless, more especially as I am confident that no feelings of indignation or sorrow for my late acts are cherished by you. But still, reparation is in my power, and I not only waive all rights, title, or claim to your person or your fortune, but freely admit your power to bestow them on a more worthy object.
This generosity, Sir Harcourt, is most unexpected.
No, not generosity, but simply justice. Justice.
May I still beg a favor?
Claim anything that is mine to grant.
You have been duped by Lady Gay's bankers. I have also been cheated and played upon by her and Mr. Hamilton. May I beg that the contract between us may, to all appearance, still be held good?
Certainly. Although I confess I cannot see the point of your purpose.
Now, Grace, I have brought the lad.
Thank you, Uncle. but the trouble was quite unnecessary. Sir Harcourt holds to his original contract.
The deuce he does.
And I am willing, nay, eager, to become Lady Courtly.
The deuce you are?
But Sir Harcourt.
One word, Max, for an instant.
What can this mean? Can it be possible that I've been mistaken? That she is not in love with Augustus Hamilton?
Now we shall find out how he intends to bend the haughty Grace.
Madam, Miss, I mean, are you really in earnest? Are you in love with my father?
No, indeed I am not.
Are you in love with anyone else?
No, or I should not marry him.
Then you actually accept him as your husband?
In the common acceptation of the word.
Dang me if I have not been a petty fool. Why do you marry him if you don't care about him?
To save my fortune.
Mercenary, cold-hearted girl. Were you never in love?
Never.
Ah, what an ass I've been. I heard Lady Gay mention something about a Mr. Hamilton.
Ah, yes. A person who, after an acquaintanceship of 2 days, had the assurance to make love to me. And I...
Yes, you? Well?
I pretended to receive his attentions.
It was the best pretense I ever saw.
An absurd, vain, conceited coxcomb who appeared to imagine that I was so struck with his fulsome speech that he could turn me around his finger.
My very thoughts.
But he was mistaken.
Confoundedly. Yet you seemed rather concerned about the news of his death.
His accident? No, but...
But what?
Oh, what can I say? But my maid Pert's brother is a postboy, and I thought he might have sustained an injury. Poor boy.
Curse the postboy. Madam, if the retention of your fortune be the plea on which you are about to bestow your hand on one you do not love, and whose very actions speak his carelessness for that inestimable jewel he is incapable of appreciating, know that I am devotedly, madly attached to you.
You, sir? Impossible.
Oh, but inevitable. I have been so for a long time.
Why, you never saw me until last night.
I have seen you in imagination. You are the ideal I have worshipped.
Since you have pressed me into confession, which nothing but this could bring me to speak, no, I did love poor Augustus Hamilton, but he is no more. Pray spare me, sir.
She loves me. And where's my governor again? What a situation I am in. What is to be done?
Where have you put my dolly? I have been racing all round the house. Tell me, is he quite dead?
My dear madam, you must perceive this unfortunate occurrence was no fault of mine. I was compelled to act as I have done. I was willing to offer any apology, but that resource was excluded as unacceptable.
I know. 'Twas I made him write that letter. There was no apology required. 'Twas I that apparently seduced you from the paths of propriety. 'Twas all a joke, and here is the end of it. Oh, if he had but lived to say, I forgive you, Gay.
So I do.
He is alive.
Of course I am.
Oh, I will never hunt again, unless you wish it. Sell your stable.
Oh, no, do what you like. Say what you like for the future. I find the head of the family has less ease and more responsibility than I, as a member, could have anticipated. I abdicate.
Oh, cool, here. You may destroy those papers. I have altered my mind, and I do not intend to elope at present. Where are they?
You seem particular, so how could I send them off by mail to London?
Why then, a full description of the whole affair will be published tomorrow.
Irretrievably.
You must post to town immediately and stop the press.
Beg pardon, but they will see the hanging first. They don't agree with such a profitable lie. Oh, that's me, I'm sorry. No, sir. The gentleman who calls himself Mr. Solomon Isaac insists upon following me up.
Mr. Courtly, you will excuse my performance of a most disagreeable duty at any time, but more especially in such a manner. I must beg the honor of your company to town.
What? How? What for?
For debt, Sir Harcourt.
Arrested? Impossible. There must be some mistake.
Not the slightest, sir. Judgment has been given in 5 cases for the last 3 months, but Mr. Courtly is an eel rather too nimble for my men. We have been on his track and traced him down to this village with Mr. Dazzle.
Ah, Isaacs, how are you? Now are Mrs. I and all the little eyes?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I know him intimately, distantly related to his family. Same arms as on our escutcheon. Empty purse falling through a hole in the pocket. Motto, resquiat in pace, which means let virtue be its own reward.
Oh, I thought there was a mistake. No, your misfortune. Mr. Hamilton was the person you dogged to Oak Hall, between whom and my son a most remarkable likeness exists.
Ah, no to your misfortune, Sir Harcourt, that Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Courtly are one and the same person.
Charles?
Concealment is in vain. I am Augustus Hamilton.
Hang me if I didn't think it all along. Oh, you infernal cozening dog.
Now then, Mr. Courtly.
Stay, sir. Mr. Charles Courtly is underage. Ask his father.
I won't. I won't pay a shilling of the rascal's debt, not a sixpence.
Well, then I will. You may retire.
I can now perceive the generous point of your conduct towards me. And believe me, I appreciate and will endeavor to deserve it.
Aha, come, Sir Harcourt. You have been fairly beaten. You must forgive him. Say you will.
So, sir, it appears you have been leading covertly an infernal town life.
Yes, please, Father.
None of your humbug, sir. He is my own son. How could I expect him to keep out of the fire? And you, Mr. Cool, have you been deceiving me?
Sir Harcourt, if your perception played on, how could I expect to see?
Well, it would be useless to withhold my hand. There, boy. What is all this? What do you want?
Your blessing, Father.
Please, Father.
Oh, the mystery is being solved. So, you young scoundrel, you have been making love under the rose.
He learnt that from you, Sir Harcourt.
What would you do now if I were to withhold my consent?
Do without it.
The will says, if Grace marries anyone but you, her property reverts to your heir apparent. And there he stands.
Make a virtue of necessity.
I married from inclination, and see how happy I am. And if ever I have a son...
Hush, Dolly, dear.
Well, take her, boy, although you are too young to marry.
Am I forgiven, Sir Harcourt?
Can
you
have you
see
really
through
deceived me?
this?
And you still love me?
As much as I ever did.
A very handsome ring indeed.
Really? and my money paid for it.
Poor little spanker.
One point I wish to have settled. Who is Mr. Dazzle?
A relative of the spankers, he told me.
Oh, no, a near connection of yours?
Oh, never saw him before I came down here in all my life. Charles, who is Mr. Dazzle?
Who? I don't know. Dazzle, will you excuse an impertinent question?
Certainly.
Who the deuce are you?
I have not the remotest idea.
How, sir?
Well, it's a simple question as you may think it. It would puzzle half the world to answer. One thing I can vouch, nature made me a gentleman. That is, I live on the best that can be made, the best that can be procured for credit. I never spend my own money when I can oblige a friend. I'm always thick on the winning horse. I'm an epidemic on the trade of tailor. For further particulars, inquire of any sitting magistrate.
And these are the deeds which attest your title to the name of gentleman. I perceive you have caught the infection of the present age. Charles, permit me as your father, and you, sir, as his friend, to correct you on one point. Barefaced assurance is the vulgar substitute for gentlemanly ease. And there are many who, by aping the vices of the great, imagine that they elevate themselves to the rank of those whose faults alone they copy. No, sir, the title of gentleman is the only one out of any monarch's gift, yet within the reach of every peasant. It should be engrossed by truth, stamped with honor, sealed with good feeling, signed man, and enrolled in every true and honest heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Well done, everyone. Now, yes.
Sorry for all
Terrific.
the mix-ups on the script, but these things happen. Bravo, everybody.
Yes, bravo, everybody.
Oh,
Very.
chew up that